just for the people. We are the people.
Hey y'all, hey, it is Healer AUSET, Dr. AUSET, Mama AUSET, sis, whatever it is that you call me. Welcome to Holistic Soul Healing. We are on our network, not just for the people, we are the people. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 7. Damo had to come in today, y'all, and say, this is what we're doing, I said, because I was kind of being a little bossy and don't know nothing about production, so he had to put me in my place today. So, shout out to Damo, shout out to Tux, shout out to our network. Again, we are on this network because we believe in independent storytelling. We believe in for us, by us. We believe in making sure that we are controlling the narrative of who we are, what we are, and that is exactly why today we are going off script and we are going to do a soapbox because, baby, I have a story to tell and we're going to tell it. But before I do, let me make sure that I pay some bills and let y'all know that you are here on our network. Again, not just for the people. You should be saying it to yourself. We are the people. I am the people. And every single Monday, you can see Shin's show. This is our comedian, and she is so hilarious. Bet that is every single Tuesday. Making sure Tuesday and Fridays, make sure that you are tuning into that. Sadiddy Scene every single Tuesday. Again, y'all just need to lock in. Make sure you hit like, subscribe so you get the notification. You are on this show right now, Healer AUSET, Holistic Soul Healing. Right after me is the Mackin Show with 100 Racks, and it is hilarious. I'm gonna get everybody to come on my show. Then Game Point is every single Thursday, talking about sports, making sure that it's there. And of course, y'all hear me talk about Damo all the time. Friday Funk, he be playing them drums. I just told him, I was telling folks about him the other day. My people with Uncle Tux and Damo are the owners of our network. So make sure every time you see them that you were, first of all, we need to be saying thank you. We need to be giving our flowers to Damo. We need to be giving our flowers to Tux. We need to be making sure that we not waiting until there's an obituary to read. You gonna know that we appreciate you. Today, for sure, Damo knows I appreciate him. That's an inside joke. But I want y'all to continue to support our network, not just for the people. We are the people. Continue. Not just my show, but every single show. It's great content. It's our story. It's our voices. It's for us, by us. They have a beautiful setup. Like I said, all I do is show up with my beautiful makeup done by Samia. If you need your makeup done, make sure that you hit up Samia Joe. And I just come and sit. And all he says is go sit, go get on the stage and figure it out. I do nothing. So this is all because of our network. You are here enjoying this content because of that. So I appreciate our network. Please, please, please continue to support. Please continue to do this. And y'all ready? Y'all ready? Because I came in on fire again. So first, before I talk about the fire, let me explain. So I'm an organizer. I like order. And I like things to be a little bit predictable. I'm a fixed sign. I'm a Leo. So I like things done in a particular order and all of the things. So when Tux and I started having a conversation about, like, what does it look like to bring AUSET on our network? I gave this whole, it's probably like 7 months worth of content, right? I gave this whole format. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. Here's the segments. Here's where, blah, 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 blah. I want commercials, blah, blah, blah. I gave a whole format, like for the rest of the year, for real. Because I'm just organized like that. What I am finding, yes, I'm organized. Yes, I'm fixed. Yes, I like things done in a particular order, but I'm also realistic in real life happening. So with Soapbox 2, these 2 shows are completely off of what the script was, because I'm realizing that there's a need to address what's happening in real time. I was like, I don't know if I want to be a talk show. I don't know if I think I just want to like show up to do healing work, right? But the authentic, genuine, honest, transparent me be needing to go off on some stuff. So I came in on fire again today, y'all, because A lot of people don't know this, and I want to bring awareness because I think people think it's something to just kind of put under the rug, but it's not. So there is currently, not currently, I'm gonna start from affirmative action. So if you are not familiar with what affirmative action is, this is going to be an educational show for you today. Affirmative action was put into place because of the gross disparities, particularly within the Black community. Affirmative action benefited the brown community, the Asian community, the LGBTQ community, everybody else, but it was on the backs of Black folks. If you're taking notes, take that note. It was on the back of Black folks, okay? We were the ones who did the work. We were the ones who marched. And it wasn't, and I don't want to minimize folks of other communities that came into support, because that absolutely happened. I'm not about to get up here and do a history lesson, but just know affirmative action was put into place because of the gross disparities that were happening, and there needs to be a reconciliation in this country with all of the wealth of this country was built on the back of ancestors of mine and of anyone who has melanin in their skin, right? So affirmative action was put into place. That led to many things, from housing to banking to all of the things. And there's other shows for that because I want to be focused on what we're talking about today. Order, remember that. So with affirmative action last year, and what's so interesting is last year we launched Black Leadership Foundation, and Black Leadership Foundation is to be able to, if you're not familiar in the nonprofit world, nonprofit, education, healthcare, all of the things, wherever you can get grants, where you can receive money that you don't have to pay back, that is called philanthropy. And so philanthropists have a huge disparity. It is so bad that there's now a slew of research. One of my favorite research articles and research works that came out of Echo and Green, and they did a paper on how horrible Black-led, Black-serving nonprofit organizations are underfunded. And we're underfunded, but we are also the ones doing the most work. Let me say that again. We are underfunded doing the most work. And one of the trends is that we use our own money. Let me say that again. We use our own money. So when grants don't come through, right, we will write a grant and seek $500,000 and only get $100,000. So if we are creating a budget saying that we need to create this budget, and we're in this June is the last month of our fiscal year in the nonprofit world, which means most corporations and for-profits, they go from January to December. Nonprofits, we go from July 1 to June 30. So right now you're going to hear a whole bunch of people going crazy because we're trying to get into year reports. We're trying to get audited. We're doing all of the things this month because this is the last month. And so when that happens, right, we are severely, I don't even know if severely is a strong enough word. We are so underfunded. I just completed sitting on the board for a fund with the Colorado Women's Foundation. And their statistic is that, I believe, don't quote me, I don't know if this is the right number, but I believe the statistic is 0.5%. Let me say that again. 0.5% of all of the dollars that all of these corporations and all of these folks in the world that they fund, 1% is given to women. Now, we're not talking about women of color. So imagine, let's just estimate 0.5 of that is given to women of color. Black Leadership Foundation. So I am very familiar, and y'all are going to hear my story and why I started Black Leadership Foundation, why VPAC is not as a school in Denver. You're going to hear my story and my why. But it is very much rooted in the dollars don't make sense. There's a wonderful, wonderful book that I suggest to everyone. It is called The Revolution Will Not Be Funded. And it talks about funding being an industrial complex and how these funders fund our organizations in order to keep us despaired. I don't think people really understand this. They fund our organizations to keep us despaired. Because if they don't keep us despaired, what are they writing off and what is the narrative of all things? We need to understand that all of these systems that are being egregious and being disproportionate in all of the things to our community. And when I say Black community, let me also say to my brown folks, to my Asian folks, to my any other disparate community folks, I am talking about all of us. All right. Black is the most underserved, though. So just as in education, if you serve the most underserved well, you serve everyone well. So if you serve Black organizations well, you serve everybody well. All right. So I am coming from the lens of Black organizations as a Black woman founder, and I'm going to share my own story. And I have struggled for years if I was ever going to tell this story. And I'm ready to. And I'm ready to because I am a little bit angry. So there's in those disparities, right? Philanthropy has a huge issue. There's public foundations and then there's private foundations. So there's foundations that you can legit go to and be invited to, and they will fund you, and they don't put an official RFP out there. You have to be invited in. You have to do all of these things. Then there's the public funders who anybody can apply. It's there. There's X amount of dollars in the pot, and everybody is after the same dollars. You can imagine the crab in the bucket, what that does for the community. I don't have to go into that because hopefully we all have sound mind and we can understand that asking for money just is not the way to go. All right. So there's a real industrial complex that is happening. These dollars are also associated to, particularly in education, where you can see where these funders are also a part of the prison to the preschool to prison pipeline in education. They are also a part of making sure that Black families are broken, because if there's nothing to make a point to give money to, right? So if I give you money to Jakeem and them, and they actually produce good results, the funder actually gets upset with you because you're solving the problem. And, you know, Malcolm done told us. Who else done told us? Amir Baraka done told us. Dick Gregory done told us. Everybody done told us. As long as we're asking the very oppressor to fund the solution, we are going to always be despaired. Period, point blank. So that's a little bit of understanding for the nonprofit world, because you're going to need that when I tell my story. Affirmative action has just been cut. And I don't think that people understand. We're not going to really see the impact of affirmative action being taken away from us as a country for maybe 5 years, but for sure 10 years. All right. This means that something like HBCUs can be eliminated because they are saying, right, like, you can no longer say we are doing this because of whatever community you represent, your identity. You can no longer have this position. Now, mind you, affirmative action did not close the gap. All of the housing disparity, redlining, all of those things, it did not close the gap. We are in no better. In fact, if you ask me, and y'all already know because we've been talking about education and Brown versus Board of Education, if you ask me, we are in a worse position than we were pre-integration, because integration was introduced to us, and what unfortunately a lot of our community did is we wanted what someone else had. Instead of saying integration should have been about access and being able to receive what we needed, and we still should have kept our own, right? when you go into various cities, you can go to Chinatown, you can go to the Italian neighborhoods, right? The communal of keeping it in the Black community. You know how long the Black dollar stays in the Black community? 4 seconds, 6 seconds. I don't care, whatever. It don't stay. Okay, it doesn't stay. So affirmative action being cut we're not going to see the long-term effects immediately, but this was a major thing. And they took it away. So the same white lawyer who challenged affirmative action and won took a wonderful organization, the Fearless Fund, who is very specific in saying that they are a venture capitalist funder that funds Black women Black women-led organizations. They took them to court. So the same lawyer took Fearless Fund to court. Initially, they were able to say, get out of here. They can continue to do their work. We're going to do their work. And in an appeals court this week, our country decided that they can no longer do that work. So there's 2 parts to this. Even if it is a pause until litigation is done, because they're still in litigation, even if it is a pause, the message that sends, I need us to understand. We have got to stop asking our oppressor to free us. We have got to stop expecting our oppressor to give us liberation. It is not going to happen. I am so infuriated. So I got wind of everything on Monday. Tuesday I was traveling. Monday I was traveling. So yesterday I was just like, what is really happening and what's going on? I'm trying to read. I'm trying to research. Y'all know me by now. I'm a researcher. So I'm trying to understand. It's a little unclear with the information. I have not done what I usually do, is go to the court docket and get the information. I have not done that yet. So I'm not sure if this is just a pause until final verdict or if this is the final verdict. So let me say that. So please do your own research. Regardless, either way, to tell the Fearless Fund that they can no longer fund Black women. This isn't about men versus women. This isn't about Black versus brown. This isn't about Black versus Asian. This isn't about Black versus LGBTQ. This isn't about any of that. This is about, I hope we understand what can possibly happen for us if this ruling is set. Affirmative action was already taken. So if we don't start creating our own, I've been saying this, I think the last soapbox I was saying, y'all, it ain't about it's coming. It's here. We are in it. And we have to raise the awareness. We have to raise the awareness of understanding that we are about to be set up to be so non-relevant to the movement of anything that happens. And the strategy, y'all, let me explain. The strategy, this has been happening since our ancestors were kidnapped. The planning and the strategy has been there. The only thing that we have that can get us up out of this position is a awareness and an awakening that says enough is enough, and we are going to be disciplined enough to say we're going to create our own. Hence why I am on our network, right? Because we have to get aligned with what it means, which means you have to start spending your dollars with your people and keeping it in our 6 seconds, y'all. 6 seconds. And if we are going to lose our voice, we are going to lose our vote, we are going to lose our positionality, we are going to lose all of the things because we are too caught up and we're not organizing and working together. Imagine this past weekend. I'm just going to talk about Denver. I wasn't in Denver this week, but I'm going to just talk about Denver. In Denver, I saw about 5 different events that happened with low turnout. Imagine if all of us came together and said, we all gonna do this together and we're gonna have the maximum output, right? Y'all, I was crying yesterday. I was so upset today. I had to talk to him. I had to get some counsel from my grandfather. And Mr. Virgil. Shout out to Mr. Virgil. Because I was so distraught. Because I don't think y'all understand. When they start making laws, we need lobbyists. We need lawyers. We need, right? Like, we got to tell we got to start telling our children, this is what you're going to school for because this is what we need. Where are our Black doctors? Where are our Black nurses? Where are our Black educators? Where are our Black schools? Where are our, right? Like, if we don't take this serious, right? But everybody want to play and be on TikTok doing the dances. Y'all going viral or whatever. Y'all think them likes and them follows mean something. All the while, there's a whole plan against our community. I am so I'm hurt. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm fueled. I'm like all of the things. And to be a Black woman, I'm a Black woman. I don't have just VPAC. I have multiple businesses. So to be a Black woman. And to know that the Fearless Fund is going through this. And let me tell you too, we've been promoting Black Leadership Fund, but we have been slow. We have been slow. Boy, let me tell y'all about my producer. Okay? I didn't even give him that image. But that's why Damo's so dope. But let me tell y'all about the importance of this Fearless Fund verdict. Everyone needs to go like, follow, support, say something about Fearless Fund and what is going on. This sister has been on a campaign to get the word out, and we have to get behind her and support because this verdict determines so much of the work that our community needs, right? That will go to... Listen, you won't be able to say Black led, Black serving, nothing. There they go. There they go. Right? And if you don't understand how, I am so angry. I'm fueled, but I'm angry. And then they say, and then they have the audacity to say, we're angry Black women. Shout out to Rhapsody. If y'all have not listened to this album, her new album, y'all need to go listen to it because, yeah, I'm angry. I'm an angry Black woman. I am angry because if you think I'm not supposed to be angry at the fact that they are telling the Fearless Fund they can no longer fund Black women-led organizations, y'all, in 5 to 10 years, anything that is Black leading can become obsolete. It can disappear. This is not anything to play with. And we are so caught up, but we know who's battling who though. Right? There they go. We know what it is. I stand behind Fearless Fund. Black Leadership Foundation stands behind Fearless Fund. And the fact that Ariana, this is Ariana, because she has been so courageous in being the voice, being the face, I have seen people attack her. I have seen people, right? No, not on our watch. Black Leadership Fund, Foundation, we have been, I don't want to say we've paused, but we have definitely been slow to movement because we want to make sure we're aligned with making sure we're supporting the Fearless Fund. Because we need more. Fearless Fund funds Black women and Black Leadership Foundation. We do men and women, right? It's okay. This isn't competitive. This is supportive. This is a bridge. This is, sis, I need you to do this. And her doing this work, right? Like, we got to go back. Now we got to go change language. We got to go do all of this stuff instead of just saying like, yeah, we are for our people. And the gross disparity is that it is probably about 90% that venture capitalists funds white men. It's probably 0.5% that it funds Black women. I know Black women who need VC money, who I was in fellowships with, who they were legit in the tech world. They were doing all of the stuff, trying to raise the dollars, but immediately a white man can come in. They get funded. They get fully funded, and their product isn't even as quality as our sisters is. I don't think y'all understand how important this case is. This is something that we should be rallying behind. What can you do? The question is, what can you do? The first thing that you can do is you can continue to follow the story. You have to stay aware. Because if you're not aware, if you're not educated, if you don't know, listen, I'm starting the show and didn't even fully finish my research, but I knew this was important enough to at least ring the alarm. So go to Fearless Fund, go follow them, go make sure that you are supporting, get the word out, go find out what is happening with what is going on. The second thing that you can do is we need lobbyists. And I'm going to shout out Elder Virgil, because I was angry before I came to the show today. And Papa and Elder Virgil were in the kitchen, and I was infuriated. My Papa was like, you got to channel your anger. You got to channel your anger, baby, because I'd be fiery, right? And he's like, you got to channel it. And Elder Virgil said one very small but impactful thing. We need lobbyists. We need lawyers. We need people who are going to advocate on our behalf. We need to be seeing the setup and saying we're going to set up. We need to be seeing that I might not like you, but I need you. I don't care if your ego is big. I don't care, whatever, but we have to start strategizing and working together. What else can you do? You can support the organizations in your community that you know are doing this work. Stop talking about, I had a parent call and say, I can't afford $500 for a summer camp. Cool. Let's figure it out. We're going to figure out what a scholarship can look like. What can I do? Right? Same family. All 4 of the children got new iPhones. What are you prioritizing? Because guess what? That iPhone is not helping your community at all. In fact, it's hurting your community all the way back to Africa, because Congo is in a crisis right now because we have to have iPhones because of the cobalt. Like, y'all have to start becoming aware. Think about what you are following, what you are listening to, what you are reading, what you are seeing in your news feed. The first thing is awareness. You can't do nothing if you choose to say ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss is about to have our entire community without anything. I'm have you ever been so angry that you want to cry? Have you ever been so angry? Because, right, like, anger is nothing but sadness on fire and hurt on fire. I'm so hurt. I'm so, and here's the other thing. In the Black community, where is our space to go release it? Where is our space to go, right? We don't even have folks that will act on our behalf politically, right? These are laws. We got to start looking at these laws. We got to start saying, like, I need you to read this law to get clear so you can explain to us what is happening and following that trend. We have to start organizing. What can you do? Organize. I'm not talking about a rally, y'all. I love y'all who protest. I do. I love y'all who show up. You know, once upon a time I was in that, and when I was 20, I was out there for Amadou Diallo. I was out there doing all of the, I was doing all of that. But if there's not, my grandfather said a beautiful quote. He said, Malcolm was the tree shaker and Martin caught the fruit. If we don't know how to utilize each other for our strengths and what it is that we bring for the awareness so that we know our role in the strategy, we got to start having some conversations that everybody ain't invited to. See, we are a naturally empathetic, communal, spiritually led folk. Well, we have to start strategizing and saying, well, hey, that doesn't put us in some bad positions. So we got to start having some conversations and saying, this is what you gonna do, this is what you gonna do. And we have to actually do it. And we can't get influenced because you know how they get us? By that dollar, by that lifestyle. And it's disheartening. And it's very disheartening. And I'm hurt. I don't even know. I hope y'all are hurt. I hope y'all, if you didn't know what was going on, I hope you're hearing this and you're angry too. I hope you're understanding that we have got to start working together. We have got to start saying, can we have a conversation? No, we don't need no more conversations. Can we have a strategic planning call? And this might take weeks, months, for us to get clear about strategically how we are going to move to represent and advocate our community properly. That's what we can do. There's always I don't know what to do. I got the information, and then what? You get the information, because having the information means nothing. We got a whole bunch of them people too, right? We got a whole bunch of people who got all the information, know all the details, know everything, and they not actually making no movement. And they're not actually doing something for us. We need to get all of the thinking heads, right? We need to have a council of scholars. We need to have a council of researchers. We need to have a council of tree shakers. We need to have a council of fruit grabbers. And all of us need to be on one accord. And we have to trust that nothing is going to break that. I did that. I did that. I trusted. Ooh, I gotta make sure I don't cry because my makeup is done. All right. So a lot of people have asked. We are now in, what year is this? 2024. A lot of people have asked why VPAC does not have a school in Colorado, why we have a school in Ohio, why we are building a trade school in Atlanta. We have programming here. We're going to always have programming here. But why we don't have a school in Colorado. Whew. This is a little bit of a traumatic story for me. So I'm going to ask for grace and I'm going to ask for, please bring peace. But my story is not the only story. This has happened to many people in Colorado. And I'm going to share my story. So VPAC, we started as only a performing arts organization. All we did was the arts. All we did was performance. That's what we were known for the first 10 years. We did nothing but performance. And for the first 10 years, we were a 501c3, but we did not ask for grant funding. We had a great model. We did productions. And for those of y'all, all of my original dancers, we started as Izon. Some of y'all remember Izon. We went into his and her production. We went into different names, but the work was the same. And VPAC started, and for the first 10 years, we did not need funding. We did 4 productions a year. And in 4 productions a year, we had 4 productions at Cleopatra Robinson every single season. We had tuition and our families, and we were kind of like this. If you were in community, you knew who we were. If you were outside of the community, you were like amazed. But that was because we kind of was for us by us, right? Not just for the people. We are the people. In being the performing arts organization for students of color, and my initial goal was only to, and not mine, because I'm not the creator, but our initial goal was just to provide performing arts to underserved students, to Black and brown students who couldn't afford it. If you are a parent of a dancer or a parent of a cheerleader or a gymnast or a theater student, you know it's expensive. And so we just wanted to provide the space for talented young students to be able to have a space where they could perform and they could do that. And we started in dance, we evolved into full performance, full theater. And we had a story where we had a young man. He was a beautiful, beautiful dancer. He tried to get into the School of Arts here. He did not get in. It was ridiculous that he should have gotten in. And by this time, because we're 10 years in, we also are now contracting with all of the other charter schools in the Denver metro area. So the Black and brown charter schools. So we were doing programming on the west side with the Latino people. We was doing programming on all the way to Green Valley with the Black folks. Okay, we had programming. If you were a Black and brown student that wanted to perform, we did dance, we did theater, and we were the provider for all of these charter schools. And that's how we survived. Like, we had these contracts plus tuition plus these shows. So it kept us afloat, and we were doing fine. Slowly but surely, we were a part of all of the schools that began to get closed. All of the charter schools that were Black and brown led, let me say that again, Black and brown led, were beginning to get shut down for whatever reason. And we saw the damage. We were blessed for the performers that were in all of those schools. They pretty much like came into VPAC. Like, we lost our school, but we didn't lose performance. So we're keeping this here. Fast forward, year 10, all of the Black and brown schools have been dismantled. So in education, let me tell you, Denver very much was a leader in the country about how to do charter schools right. I was always against charter schools because I saw the future, right? Like, I was like, I don't know if this is going to give us great results in the future. And what is happening, I was seeing things like special needs students were being served, so they would throw them to VPAC into our programming. So I was seeing these disparities. Now, at this time, I am not fully invested in being an educator outside of performing arts education. I was not interested in like full academics. This was not what I was doing, because what was working for us was working for us. And I had a parent after this young man didn't get into DSA. He should have gotten into DSA. He wound up being great, going into football, having a great high school career. But he was a beautiful Black boy who danced. I was upset. So I can say, I was like, how in the world did DSA not allow this student to become a student? And at that time, the numbers of Black and brown students in that particular school were so low. I actually became a ticket holder that year because I wanted to go see all of the production. I did my research. I went to see all the production. They were doing shows that were actually written for cast of color, and there were no students to be casted. And so I got very, very upset. My parents came to me and said, VPAC needs to be a school. Because I saw all of this damage, I said no. It's like, absolutely not. I see what happens. I see my friends who have been despaired, who have been outright lied on, set up, doing all of the things. And I said, I'm not doing that. They convinced me because of that research. And I love DSA, right? Like, let me say that too. Like, Denver School of the Arts is one of the best performing arts schools in the country, right? People from all over the country come to have their student in Denver School of the Arts. So I'm not at all like, there's no discord with Denver School of the Arts. I saw the need. And I was like, we need a FAME. We need a School of the Arts for Black and brown students where our culture can be celebrated, where ballet is just as important as hip hop, where African dance, where salsa, where, right, all of these other forms of dance and all of these other forms of art, spoken word is just as important as all of these other things. And the students wanted that. They wanted that. So we did a lot of research, years of research. And we went on the journey of saying we are going to open a charter school. We started the work, we had the motion, folks was signing up, like we had everybody coming. We went before a particular school district and we got denied. We got denied for lies, things that we could have definitely appealed and done whatever. And so I need y'all I'm going to quickly take y'all through the process of getting your charter. When you get a charter school, if you get denied from the district that you want to be in, Colorado has a setup where the state can come in and you can still open, still in that district, still do whatever, but the state is your authorizer or the person or the entity that you're going to answer to versus the school district. So that was offered to us. We put in our work, we did whatever, and we got approved. And first, let me say this. In the process of being approved, now, mind you, my families lead VPAC. My students lead VPAC. And in the process of doing this, of getting approved, we are very transparent intentionally. And our parents very much know the process. And shout out to all of the VPAC families from that time up until now. They did not want us to go charter. They wanted us to become an independent private school. And they said, we will figure out a way to pay tuition. I take full responsibility. I did not take heed to that. This is the one thing, the one time I didn't let my parents lead. I said no, because tuition is going to have to be at least $1,200 a month. I'm looking at my families. I know my families, and my empathy was incorrect. And I made the decision no. Got involved with fellowships, whatever. And it's even more so a particular fellowship, like, made sense why I should go charter. Despite me coming into the fellowship saying, no, I want to go private. And so we did. We started the process of charter. I made that decision. That is not the board. That is not my parents. That is not the students. I messed up and deeply apologize to this day. Will always apologize because I should have just stuck to my guns and went private. So we start the journey. Get approved. We get denied, then we get approved. And immediately, because of my families, now mind you, my students, my family, everyone is involved in this process with us. We're not doing this with some hierarchy and there's one person in the chair. We're getting real feedback of what and how this school needs to be. I was told in one process, so there's multiple processes of approval. So each journey, I'm celebrating. And I'm celebrating my big Black womanness. Okay? I get a call 6 o'clock in the morning from this authorizing entity saying that my families don't understand, they don't know, and I need to not share the information, which was a huge insult to say that my families don't understand what's happening. They don't even understand, right? Like, again, so here's the first drop of racism. Here's the first drop of, oh, but we're already in the process, right? We're in the first step of getting approval. So I start taking notes. And I'm like, not my families. And even was suggested that I need to change the way I present. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if I see somebody who's not showing up fully in culturally who they are, but they're promoting a cultural program, I'm going to question it. More than anything, that's just not who I am. That's not how I've led this organization. That's not how I got the reputation. That's not how I got families to trust me. I'm going to be who I am. So it was very much suggested to tone down, right? To not be so loud, to do all of the things that they say to Black women. So I started taking notes. So because this is a state entity, I went to the state and made a complaint and said, hey, this is not okay. Like, culturally, we are going to be who we have been, and we're expanding, but we are not going to not be who we have been. My students have stayed over. I host sleepovers. I cook dinners for families. I do all types of stuff. I'm not going to not be who I am to my community because you are uncomfortable, because you don't understand our culture, and because you have a problem, because you want stuff done in a particular way. That's not what's going to work for our students. And that's why we can get results from our students, because we know how to relate to our students. So had to pull in folks, had to have mediation, had to do all of the things. And it was cool. We got approved. We were moving forward. This is 2019. 2020 happens. And in March, the first day of lockdown, March, I believe it was early March, I immediately made the decision. We were supposed to open in 2020, and I immediately made the decision, went to the board and said, hey, I think we should not open in 2020 because of COVID. I think we should open in 2021. This is clearly about to be a whole bunch of guinea pigging of what's going to happen. I'm not going to subject my children, who I love, these students, a lot of the students were students I didn't know, but a lot of the students were students that I did know. I don't want to subject them to a guinea pig experiment on what is going to happen in COVID. I don't want that on my conscience. That was the reason. And my board agreed. We took it to our authorizer. They agreed. They thought it was a sound decision. A lot of the other schools weren't making that decision yet. They thought it was too early. I did it day one. So fast forward. So when there's something called year zero. So because I made this decision, now we're in a double year zero. So year zero is the year before you open. This is when you're getting ready, right? Because dealing with government money is very different than dealing with foundation money. You have to report differently. You have to have different, it's just a whole different beast. We had consultants. We had consultants that were consulting me to do and make the moves that I was doing. And in 2020, again, this is unprecedented. We don't know what COVID is. We had families that were at risk of losing their jobs because they couldn't take their children to school. We had families that lost their homes. So at the time, I had a 3-story house, and I converted my entire home into a school. Our limit at that time, I think we could have 10 students with social distancing. I had enough space to use social distancing, and then within my home, I converted my entire basement into a performing arts space. All of the bedrooms became classrooms, and and the kitchen obviously was where we were eating. And like it became, the entire home became a school, to the point where I didn't even live in the house. Like I started living somewhere else. And so to make sure that this was there. And then in the evenings, we had families that had lost their homes. Well, you're out your mind if you think that I'm going to know that my families are sleeping in their cars and they can utilize the space. So I opened my home completely. And so that's where programming, that was programming. Like we never, in the meantime of us getting ready to open a school, we never stopped programming. So dance, theater, I think it was dance, theater, spoken word, mental health awareness things. We were doing different programmings, but so in the meantime, so that's where everything was happening. In making that decision, in year zero, typically year zero is to prep you to get ready for federal dollars. You don't get federal dollars, but you are prepping to get ready for how you report every month, doing all of the things, right? So this is your year to learn. So from 2019 until March 2020, we were not doing that. There was no training, there was no support, there was no anything. And at the time of making the decision, my board was with me in saying, we are feeling like we're winging it. So this does feel right to make the decision to open in 2021 so that we can have a real year zero, so that we can get the support, we can get the training, we can do the things that we're supposed to be doing. So this all made sense to us. Get through March, April, May, June, July, August. August, we have a huge board retreat where we sit down, we say, this is what we're doing for the next year. These are our goals. We sit down. I'm letting it be known. Now, let's go back to philanthropy. This is why Fearless Fund is so important. I'm going to tie this, I'm going to make this all make sense. Black organizations, the research, go to Echo and Green, go read their paper. All of the research shows that Black and brown organizations have to not only get the pennies that were given to run our organizations, but we usually, the funders, put in their own dollars to make programming happen. This is a part of what happens when you are despaired. So we have payroll, we have all of these things. Now, mind you, VPAC isn't the only thing that I do. I'm also a holistic doctor. I'm also a consultant, and I am blessed and favored, and I'm so thankful that I'm able to do my life's work. So when I get contracts, my contracts, I have no problem saying that I'm going to fill the gap for whatever the grant we didn't have needs. So that's what was happening, especially in COVID, because foundation shut down. There was none of the things. So I was also supporting VPAC financially, giving up my home. I was doing all of the things, right? And have no regrets about it because families were served and children were taken care of. So then August, we have this big board meeting. It's understood, hey, this is how much money I've been putting in. The board is saying, yep, we know once the money starts flowing in, we're going to make sure that we reimburse you because that's what happens. You have to write a contract. You have to do all of the things and say, this is what it is. All of those things took place. And in that taking place, when the, when the system, our first month, now mind you, year zero is supposed to be to teach you, to train you, to support you. The first month, which was September, we give our reports from August and give it to September. Now mind you, I converted my entire home. So we no longer have a space that we're paying for. We'll no longer do whatever. So I report on the books because I'm being transparent and honest. Hey, this is what's happening. Here's where this money went. $500. Okay, $500. Now, I promise you, the rent, the mortgage was not $500. But I said $500. This is going towards this because this home is now being utilized for programming. Was honest, was transparent, let it be known. Everything was from my perspective. Now, whatever perspectives, because of influence of systems, that's a whole nother thing. But the conversations before the system got involved was very clear that we were on the same page. So I submit. Because ain't nothing, because I think my board got my back. These are people that I consider mentors. I consider friends. I consider sisters. I consider if anything go down with you, I'm riding with you. In fact, I did. There were multiple people on my board who people said you shouldn't have them on, and I rode with them. Funders telling me you shouldn't have these people, and I rode with them because I trusted that you gonna have my back. The system comes in, and let me tell you what's even funnier. Oh, let me mention this too, because there might be, somebody might have to say. So I also had a vehicle. So it was my car, with my money, and I put VPAC as the second owner to build credit for the organization. But more importantly, forget the credit. It really wasn't about the credit. My car, I transport students all the time. I got students in my car all the time. So for the sake of being safe, because God forbid, if I got in an accident and that car wasn't covered, or my students wouldn't have been covered, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself. I had 3 policies on one vehicle to make sure that we had more than enough support if anything ever happened, because I always had students in my car, always. So the car was in I was the first person, and I put VPAC on second. I had 3 different policies. I had a liability policy, I had a business policy, and then I had even my personal policy and said that I do business in it. So I had 3 different policies. So that car was covered. And I used it. And anybody who knows me knows. To this day, I still use my car. Like, you're not going to stop. Like, I still use my car. And so all of a sudden, this board says we didn't know you had a car. Some of them did. Some of them may not have because they were new board members. And I said, well, that decision was made before you were even here. So if you didn't know, that's a board conversation. It's not a me conversation, because you see that I'm paying car insurance. So you see that's what's happening, right? And just to be transparent, my board wasn't doing what a board is supposed to do. And I was carrying the weight of doing the board work too, which I would have been fine with, because I knew year 0 we were going to get the support, and I was going to transition the things that I was doing for the board over, and I was going to get out. But it wasn't because I wasn't asking the board. Let me tell you, I was operating and I didn't have a contract. I didn't have a job description. I didn't have none of these things. And I was fine because I'm still showing up for my board, because I got my board's back, because I think they have mine. So the folks come on. They got big people with big titles. And all I said is, if I did something wrong, do something. Right? Like, if I did something wrong. They had issues with my children were youth ambassadors, and youth ambassadors get part-time paid. They're in program part-time, and then they get paid. We had 8 youth ambassadors. 2 of them were my children, but they earned it because they've been in programming. This isn't against the law. This isn't against the law. I wasn't doing anything that was against the law. So I kept saying, show me the law. Show me the law. I know you don't like what I'm doing, because that's not what white organizations have the privilege of having to do. But my organization, we can't operate like that. I have to say, I'm about to cook everybody dinner, including mamas, including daddies, including siblings that aren't in program. I don't have that privilege. I have to be able to do these things. And then all of a sudden, so I was put on administrative leave. My board wouldn't even talk to me. And I'm talking about, these are people that when I say love, I'm talking about I trusted. I'm talking about not only knew my family business, was my therapist, was my sis. Like I called one of them my sisters. You couldn't tell me nothing about this woman. And I was going to stand with her. That's that loyalty. That's that trust, right? This is my fault though. I take full accountability. So they put me on administrative leave. And mind you, it's COVID. I don't have access to our space, so I don't have access to our files. So I had to pay me, not the organization. I had to pay to get somebody to go into the building, somebody to clean the building, somebody to bring me all of our documents, all of our equipment that was in the building. This is what helped convert the building because I got all of my floors. I got all of our mirrors. I got all of our files. So my whole house became the space that we were utilizing. And in that, this is what is so profound about being a Black woman. When you got to do everything, sometimes you don't realize you've done everything. So I get all of my files back and baby, I had about 85% of all the documents that they doubted. They made me go through a year of line by line of itemizing every single dollar spent, which was fine because I had already done it. And I had correlating documents. We had performances that show you this is what this is going to. I had a question saying like, why did you get eyebrows done? Because they're performers, because I'm a performer, because this is what's going on. This is a part of being in a performing arts school, right? There was we went through an audit. And the audit actually wound up being favorable to me. And by the time we get the audit results, they had already fired me from my organization. At this time, we were about to be 20. We were 15 years old. So they fired me from my organization. Now, I must say, it was not a unanimous decision. It was one board member that said, we are making a mistake. This is not the side of history we want to be on, and we should not be getting rid of AUSET. They had the audacity to still send out information to my parents, thinking that they would do VPAC without me. And of course, all of my parents forwarded it to me and said, what in the world is going on? And I'm cool on all those people, right? And when I say like the distraughtness of it, so I was let go October 30th, 2020 of my organization. And in the meantime, what was asked of me had been provided. The things that the board was supposed to have done, I did. And the reason why the transition was so easy was because the work is the work. You can't stop the work. Like you can't stop the work. So October 30th, this happens. Now, mind you, at this time, if y'all know my daughter is tiny, tiny, tiny. I was wearing her clothes. I was depressed. I have said I have never I've never battled with suicide ideations, but I definitely was questioning why I was alive because VPAC is my fourth child, right? And the betrayal of my board, I have never in my life, I would have never, this one board member, she had enough sense to say, I think this is a board issue. Maybe we hold AUSET accountable to some new rules, but let's be real. She don't even have a job description. She don't even have a contract. She don't even, like, she was calling it out. And I hold space for that, but there still is a betrayal even there because, come on, y'all, like, let's be real. I did not receive one federal dollar. I did not receive the money that was in the bank was money that was raised that we could have used however we needed to use. I did not do, there was nothing that I did that broke a law, that did it, and we were doing it in VPAC culture, which is Black culture, which is I am a Black mama, I am a Black woman, I am going to show up in my community in that space of who I am. Nobody knew what COVID was bringing. And myself, there was a couple of organizations that we said, we are going to put our mask on and we are going to get out there and make sure that these students are served. We were one of them. If we were properly funded, none of this would happen. If there was proper training for folks who are in positions of authorizing or doing whatever the work is, we wouldn't be in this position. If there was an accountability system to saying, show up for your community the way that you know your community needs, none of this would have happened and VPAC would have had a school in Colorado. Let me tell you, I was so, I have never been so harmed, right? These were people that I loved. I'm talking about loved. They took my car. You know what I'm saying? I'm a single mama. They took my car. And it was such a gross, and to this day, that version of VPAC, if you go to the IRS, it is still my name. They still didn't even do the work they were supposed to do. They didn't do nothing, but I did. And that's why we were able to continue. We got a whole new 501c3, which was one of the things that was asked. We got a whole new 501c3 very quickly. It was not a hard process. I don't know why they was making it like it was a hard process. We were able to shift from charter to independent. And let me tell you how the universe works. Let me tell you how God works. Let me tell you how divine things are. October 30th, they let me go. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I'm messed up. November 3rd, this wonderful woman named Anita English somehow, some way gets on the phone with me and says, I want a VPAC school. And I got readings. I got cleansed. I have such a great support system. My mother was on the board. They removed my mother from the board. They did such horrible things to someone they said they loved, to someone they said they believed in. But it ain't about me. They hurt my students. And to be able to know that through all of that, programming didn't stop, because I didn't stop. Everybody saw I was getting small. Shout out to Midas. Midas pulled me to the side and was like, sis, what is going on? I just told VPAC families this story a couple of months ago. Because that's how I had to go to therapy. Like, it was horrible. This is what they do to Black leaders. This is what they do to Black funders. My story is not the first story of Colorado. All the Black-led schools that were charter, that y'all know about, that ain't here no more, I actually got out cleaner because I had so much documentation, you can't question it. You can't say nothing to me. Right? And so like I know the stories of those Black and brown leaders and founders that it was horrific. Horrific. If we don't start saying we are going to take things into our own hands, and let me tell you, Anita became an angel. Anita became an angel. These two sisters in Ohio came to me and said, we want a school, Columbus and Cleveland. And I realized that I was thinking too small. I would have been, let me tell you, when my mentor passed away, Mr. Jeffrey Nicholson, when he passed away, I would have been fine for the rest of my life being Robin to his Batman. Because I was fine with that. And I realized it wasn't until he passed away that I walked into what VPAC truly needs to be. It wasn't until this situation, hindsight is 2020. I'm so thankful for that situation. Let me say that. Shout out to all of those board members who were horrible and completely hurt me. Thank you. Thank you. Because I would have been fine with one school in Colorado doing what we doing. It was these two sisters coming to me in Ohio saying, you need to develop an independent school network for Black children, for brown children. We need your expertise at a different level. I'm just a school leader that needs your support, AUSET. So let me be very clear. I'm sharing my story, but I'm sharing it because I can say it without crying. I can say it without it triggering me, right? And there's more parts of that story. There were fellowships that were harmful to me in this process. There were all types of, like, I can go on. But it was such a blessing because where we are now, such a better place. I would have never even thought about this. I would have been just fine, right? And so I want y'all to understand this is why things like the Fearless Fund are important. But what's more important, what you can do is be willing to spend your dollar. That's what you can do. You can be willing to say, I'm going to invest in my children. You know, these private schools, y'all, these private schools, these folks is paying $40,000 a year for their students to have the education that is going to help their students thrive in their lives. All we asking is $1,200 a month. And I promise you, we can make it happen. What does it take to, everybody keeps asking, what does it take to bring a VPAC school back to Denver? It takes a school leader. If I can find a school leader that is willing to say, we're going to do this together, and I need families. Like, that's what it takes. Fearless Fund, what is happening with Fearless Fund, and that is what drove us. Let me tell you how much this impacted me. I went back to school and got my master's in education of leadership because I wanted to, in my entire when you go through a master's program, and the project that I had was the disparity of philanthropy. So this work is work that not only am I passionate about and I do in my spare time, I actually made it a scholarship space for me where this is, I'm serious about this because I went through it, and I'm not the only one. There are so many Black funders. If you go sit down and talk to them, they will tell you that they are not getting properly funded. They're not getting properly funded, and then funding gets taken away the more impact that they make. If we don't know these stories, you don't understand. All of these systems work together, y'all. All of them. Education works with health, works with criminal justice, all of them work together. And what you can do is start saying, I'm going to invest in my community. I'm going to invest in my students. I'm not asking for donations. I'm asking for investment in our future. Because in the next 10 years, what we are living right now is going to be very, very different. You need to find a student that you'll say, oh, that's what you need to do. Oh, yeah, I'm going to invest. Because guess what? Students with VPAC, they thrive. Our math, in 3 months, in a summer program, in 3 months, our students were advancing in math and reading. 30%. Do you understand the threat that is? So you mean to tell me these students that you call it ADD, these students that you saying have issues, Mama AUSET can come in, look at them, and they get in line? How you do that? Because I'm a Black mama. How you do that? Because I'm a Black woman. See, there's these unspoken things that you can't put a value on, but because that value is so great, they will disseminate it. And I was a product of it. But I'm not the only. Listen, I promise you, I was the last. I was the last of it. Every single Black and brown school that was a charter school in this state went through this. And worse, I just had a little bit of an inkling because I saw it happen in the schools that we were serving. I got to give the full story for you to understand why the sense of urgency is real. What's happening with the Fearless Fund? At what point are we going to say we're going to stop waiting for somebody to give it to us? And we're going to say, here's the resources to do it. The Black community is the biggest consumer. Redirect your dollars. You don't need them. Listen, you don't need them Jordans. You don't need a new iPhone every year. You don't need to drive the newest car all the time. Redirect that dollar and put it into your children's education because our babies right now can't read. Our babies right now don't even know how to add. This is not, this shit is real. I'm sorry. Ooh, Lord, Damo, I done cussed. That's the first time. This is real, y'all. And we think it just happens to the students. No, no, no. Black funders, black leaders are attacked. And then we get so hush mouth that we get scared to say what we got to say. And this is the truth. They set it up, and as long as you play your role and you give the status quo to these people to be able to say that our community is despaired because of us, they're going to continue to roll out the dollar. So all the money that gets, listen, it's real. It's an industrial complex. Go read the book. This ain't me. I wish it was just my opinion and somebody could come and counter me. I wish that somebody could say, here's the data that shows black-led organizations that are black serving actually do get funded. I wish somebody could tell me that. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but let me tell you something. I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm hurt, I'm disappointed, but I'm fueled. And one thing that y'all don't know is now y'all done messed with, now I am going to find a school leader. We are going to open a private school, and we are going to find our families that are going to say, I'm going to pay tuition because public school is failing our students. They're failing our students. They're failing our black leaders. They're failing our black teachers. They're failing all of those people that are being failed that look like us need a place to land. Because when you're an educator, it don't turn off at night. It don't turn off in 2 weeks. We still passionate about making sure our babies are prepared for the future because these are our leaders. And if we don't do something now, Fearless Fund is just the beginning. It's just the beginning of them saying, aha, aha. Now you niggas gonna sit where I told you to. Aha. It's just the beginning. And again, I'm not talking just to black folks. I'm talking to brown folks too. Y'all better stop acting like you only got to take care of yourselves. If you don't take care of the black folks too, the movement and all of that, you think this ain't going to happen to you? It's going to happen to you in a shorter span, brown community. You might be on the forefront right now, but guess what? It's going to happen in a shorter span. It took us 400 something years. They're going to do that to y'all in 60. The plan is clear. We got to start. It's so evident. And if we don't start working together, I don't care. Call me angry black woman today because I'm angry and I sure am a black woman. Y'all, what can you do? Invest. And stop thinking that it's a handout. Redirect your dollar. Be disciplined enough to say, I'm going to do this because guess what? We are 400 years behind. 400 years behind. Ooh, Lord. I'm over time. Damo gonna be like, listen. Here's the beautiful thing. I am big on not leaving in fire. From visions to victory, right? We went from Visions Performing Arts College Prep to Victory Project-Based Academics and Competency. We now do everything. Anything for education you can get from VPAC. We have 3-year-olds reading and telling me who Stokely Carmichael is. Okay? This is what we do. And the beautiful thing is that the fuel turned into the creator giving the real path and the real access that we're supposed to have. And I'm so thankful to be in the work. But y'all, I'm not a fool to think that like I can't get killed for this. I know that. And kill can be literally and figuratively. right? This is the first time I've shared my story. I'm not a fool to know that somebody gonna watch it and say something and go tell it back to the people who did the harm. And then now they gonna want to say something and they might try to kill my career or kill my access or kill my opportunity. I know that. I know that. You know why? Because Malcolm got killed. Because Martin got killed, right? Like, I know that. So I know the formula, right? I know what's going to happen. But I also know that good God of mine, those ancestors, the angels, the spirit. I know that the spirit of the Most High has something that is calling that is bigger than me. And it's bigger than you. And the only way we are going to even begin to be the solution is to surrender to that. When we surrender to God and we say we want to do what God has us to do, we remove our ego, we remove our pride, we remove the fear, right? That's why it's Fearless Fund. She had to be fearless. She had to show up the way that she did. She had to. And we will stand with her. Black Leadership Foundation stands with her. I stand with her personally. VPAC stands with her. Fearless Fund. We are going, if this is the direction that we are going, let's be very clear from this moment on, we are working together. There's no competition. Whatever you got going on, stop. We got to do something, but more than anything, invest. If we don't have to ask them for their dollars, they can't tell us what to do. If we ain't got to, you can't say where I could do whatever I want to do, because guess what? They do that. 90% of the VC funding went to white men. You think that, please, if we use our own money, how can you support? Go to blackleadershipfoundation.org. Continue to support Fearless Fund. Go to vpac2020.org and go invest. This is investment. Yeah. We ain't asking. This is what you need to do. Y'all, it's I love y'all. I feel super, super transparent and open like a wound right now. And I'm prayerful that my story is received in a way that is for understanding and for clarity and why all of this connects. There is an interconnectedness to us all. And I pray to be a vessel to support that. I'm gonna go cry because it's past couple of months I've been in a place where I can talk about what happened with Visions and not freak out. I got no apology, and I don't need it at this point. I didn't even get a like, hey, how you doing? I see stuff is still going. Good job. Like, I didn't get none of that from so-called fellowships that I was in. Some of them did. Shout out to Camelback. Camelback gave, I'm proud to be a Camelback fellow. But yeah, like I only align now with things that if you see me in it, just know it's truly, truly, truly for us. It's truly for us. Because I have vetted, I have asked the questions, and I have shown like my people need to be assured that it's safe in this space. I love y'all. I didn't even know I needed this today. But we have to get behind Black leaders in various. We have to get behind Black Leadership Foundation. We have to get behind our network. We have to get behind all of the things that are for us. VPAC, yourselves, y'all. But in 10 years, this world, our reality can look very, very different if we don't do something drastic and immediate right now. I'm going to see y'all next week. Oh, excuse me. Wait a minute. I actually may not see you next week because I have an arrangement. So we might do a pre-recording. I'm going to have to talk to Damo about that. But I love y'all. If you don't see me next week, we're going to play this show again. Because it's necessary. Please contact me. Please hit my inbox. Thank y'all to everybody who is hitting my inbox. Like, girl, like, do all of that. And give me critiques. Tell me how to be better. Tell me what you need to do. Tell me who you want on the couch with me. Yeah. I'm calming down. The fire is calming down. And I love y'all. Thank you for being a safe space for me. But you're being a safe space for so many other Black leaders who choose not to share their story, who can't share their story. My story is minimum to some of the other Black leaders who have gone through this attempt. And we need y'all. Like, we need each other. I need you, and our babies need us. Thank y'all. This is our network, not just for the people. We are the people. I can't mess up my makeup, y'all. I gotta go get cute and show somebody this face. So I love y'all. We will see you next week. We're gonna close out with the birthday celebration. August 24th. Everybody come. It's the Black Leadership Foundation. I am solidifying a final sponsorship. If we get this sponsorship, I will have free tickets for people to come in August. So I will let you know by the end of the month if that sponsorship so all you got to do is show up and be ready to donate. So you don't even got to pay for your seat. So I'll give you guys more information on that. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Not just for the people. We are the people. This is our network. I am your host, Healer AUSET. You are on the Holistic Soul Healing Show every single Wednesday, 5 to 6. Thank y'all. I love y'all. And we will see you next week. Peace. Of Black Leadership Foundation was a huge success. Black Leadership Foundation, or BLF, is a tax-exempt organization that will close the philanthropic gap for Black-led, Black-serving organizations and businesses. BLF is dedicated to empowering and uplifting Black leaders to drive positive change in their communities and beyond. Our foundation provides financial resources, leadership development, and networking opportunities to support the growth and development of Black leaders in various fields. BLF acknowledges the disparities, systemic oppressions, racism, and any other mechanisms designed to keep us in the current conditions we are in. While we acknowledge those roadblocks, BLF is focused on creating and sustaining real solutions. We don't want to talk about it, we want to be about it. BLF raises funds through collective contribution levels. Individuals, businesses, organizations, and other philanthropic foundations are invited to financially contribute to the investment of Black leadership. BLF is dedicated to raising a minimum of $500,000 with 500 Level 1 contributors to distribute $100,000 to 4 deserving organizations. The ultimate goal is to raise $2.5 million by reaching and sustaining 500 contributors at Level 3. BLF aims to develop impactful leaders through executive and economic coaching rooted in collaborative fundraising that enhances the Black community. Black-led funding for Black-led, Black-serving companies and organizations will contribute to closing the gap in philanthropy, economic development, health and wellness of our communities. Become a Level 1 contributor and set the roots for BLF to grow. At this level, you donate $1,000. Become a Level 2 contributor and see the roots sprout for BLF. At this level, you donate $2,500. Become a Level 3 contributor and see BLF trees providing the oxygen that our communities need. At this level, you donate $5,000. BLF asks that each level contributor commits to a 3-year commitment. For the 2023 Harlem Nights launch party, BLF thanks all of our partners and everyone who came from across the country to celebrate with us. Join us August 24th, 2024 for the Hawaiian Luau Brunch at the Gathering Spot.
Once we surpass our fundraising goal, we will be able to grant 4 deserving Black leaders with a minimum of $100,000 for their organization or business. For more information and how you can commit to becoming a collective contributor, visit us at www.blackleadershipfoundation.org. We cannot wait to see you next year. Let's change.